Welcome to the Around the Ring Elimination Chamber Review YouTube exclusive special. I am one half of your host, Dave Brown. I am joined with, as always, by my good buddy, Floyd Johnson Jr. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great. I'm on my 17th hour awake because I worked last night. But I'm surprisingly hanging in there. Wrestling got me through the night, so I'm ready to talk about a good show.
And it was. I thought we'd start out with just overall thoughts. What were your overall thoughts of the show?
It was really, like I was saying, it's a really good show. I was actually very impressed. I was actually very, impressed with just how good the show was. Because, when you have 3 women's matches, a tag team match, you pretty much were getting it all. A 2-on-1 match. It was a traditional, the matches, you were looking at them, you wouldn't have traditionally thought they were going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things I really came away with from this is, especially after that final women's division match, is this show over-delivered. Overall, I think. Not the whole thing wasn't perfect, but overall, I thought it really over-delivered. And by the time it was all said and done, I had a great time watching this pay-per-view. I'm super stoked. I just finished watching the main event a little bit ago prior to our dilemmas with the computers as we were getting ready to record this. But let's go through match by match and give our thoughts and everything. The Elimination Chamber was last night, Sunday, February 12th, from Phoenix, Arizona. A lively crowd that also would get eerily silent at times. I thought that was interesting.
Well, that's just Apollo Crews' effect on people.
Not just him. Kurt Hawkins had that effect too. Speaking of that opening match during the pre-show, Kurt Hawkins taking on Mojo Rawley, or as I like to say, the spray tan contest. What'd you think of this?
I did not watch it.
You did not miss a damn thing.
I did not. I did not think it was gonna. I will watch the pre-show if I feel it's going to enhance the regular show. I knew Mojo was gonna win. Someone kind of confirmed that to me. I didn't need to see it.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. My big takeaways were, what the hell was Kurt Hawkins wearing? His new ring gear sucks. And they use so much spray tan, it was kind of wiping off of them. It was disturbing. So less we talk about that, the better. The show opened up with Becky Lynch taking on Mickie James. Becky got the win. I was shocked. I thought for sure Mickie was going to go over on this. I thought it was a pretty good match. What'd you think?
I thought it was a really good mat-based match. It was very very technical, and even the end was very old school with the jackknife out of a pin attempt by Mickie James. It's like if wrestling was real, that's how I expect a match to end. Just somewhat surprising, and you get the person in an uncomfortable position where they couldn't kick out.
Yeah, I agree. This wasn't I think my expectations were a little too high for this match because it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it was still good. And I thought it was a good one to open. Becky Lynch has so much energy and all her straight fire. I thought it was a good place to open the show. Next up, we had probably the lowest point of the show. Bless Apollo Crews' heart. Apollo Crews and Kalisto taking on Dolph Ziggler in a 2-on-1 handicap match. I gotta say, Dolph did a really good job throwing Kalisto into the LED board and damn near breaking it. Though they fixed that thing real freaking quick. That the production staff in WWE is top notch. There were literally pieces of that thing hanging out, and the next time there was a close shot of it, it was all fixed.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely can get that stage up and get it torn down. They know every part of it, and that was very impressive that they were able to get that fixed quickly. But as far as the match, I don't understand a two-face on one heel handicap match. I never will. This whole idea of this match, I was like, unless I was with your idea, unless one of them turned, or Dolph Ziggler figured out a way to win, the match in general served no purpose to me.
Yeah, I think the story they were going for was Dolph wrote a check his butt couldn't cash. He opened his mouth, and the general manager was like, fine, you think you can beat two of them at once. Here you go, have fun with that. But again, it doesn't make any sense for two good guys to be beating one bad guy. And yeah, if for those of you who have not listened to our show this week, episode 83, we did our predictions, and I talked about the rumor that I had heard and the hope that I had that Apollo Crews would turn on Kalisto in this match and join Ziggler as his kind of heavy. I think that's something that could still happen. This seems like it's in a holding pattern because at the end, Dolph went apeshit and just beat the crap out of everyone, which got just gigantic cheers and thank you Ziggler chants at the end. They've got to do something with Apollo Crews. They either need to send him back to NXT, they need to turn him heel. They've got to do something. This poor guy is dead in the water, and I don't want him to get released because they can't figure out what the hell to do with him. He is too freaking good for this, and it's really bad when your heel, who is just acting like a complete douche, beats the utter tar out of two baby faces, two of the white meat baby faces you will ever see, and the crowd responds with "Thank you, Ziggler" chants. That's not good.
All I can say is you have to dial up on the opportunity for Cruz. Last night set up a perfect opportunity to call him heel, make him heel. You have Dolph Ziggler trying to break his ankle, and the crowd chanting, "Thank you, Ziggler." I can write that heel promo without even trying. I come out here, I give you everything I have. Someone tries to permanently injure me, tries to end my career, and you thank him. Oh my God, that's a perfect heel promo.
Which means it probably won't happen. But yeah.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do with him. I just know he's a natural heel. You can find any videos online that you want to when he plays the heel, that he's a super athlete and he is better than you. It works. That's his gimmick. That's what he can do. Right now, he's in a holding pattern, and then their next move with him is going to be what they plan for him. If they try to keep him being the same person, they might as well release him because the WWE fans do not care about Apollo Crews. Exactly.
I couldn't agree more. Right next, we had the tag team turmoil match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So the match started out with Heath Slater and Rhino taking on Breezango. Slater and Rhino beat Breezango, and then the Vaudevillains came out, and they then beat the Vaudevillains. The Usos came out, eliminated Heath and Rhino. American Alpha came out and eliminated the Usos, but then the Usos got pissed and beat the utter crap out of them. To which the Ascension came out. Victor needs to shave his head badly because his hair is worse than Baron Corbin's. And then American Alpha snuck out the win barely. I think actually this match, the way they placed it and the way they timed everything, is a lot better than I was hoping for. I was afraid that it was going to be American Alpha first and they just beat everyone, which they didn't do, which was great. I also think they did a pretty good job making the Ascension look strong, even though they lost. And it was just a case of American Alpha just barely beat them. But really, I think the Usos looked better than anyone else coming out of this thing. What do you think?
I completely agree. The Usos, they had a bit of injury issues for a while, so the WWE didn't get to really embrace their heel, them versus American Alpha in a good feud, and I think it's going to be an amazing feud if they do it. I would like to see the American Alpha wrestle more. It feels like they're getting a little too formulaic with the hot tag, and he runs into the corner and they set up their move. I would like their matches to be more, a little bit longer, where they wrestle. Maybe both of them have their signature moves that they do. It just seems a little quick to me with American Alpha, but I'm really looking forward to them versus the Usos. The Usos in-ring style now is that of the Revival, so I could see why they didn't bring the Revival in, because the Usos are pretty much wrestling their style now, and I would like to see it culminate at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, that feud needs to culminate at WrestleMania. That would be a perfect spot for it. And I think it's
some kind of stipulation.
2 out of 3 falls.
Not even 2 out of 3 falls. I think it has to be a violent stipulation, like street fight, tables, ladders, and chairs, or something. Because the Usos have been so violent against the American Alpha that it has to be something that just they can kind of go crazy on.
That would be cool. I like that idea. I think it's safe to say that the tag team division in SmackDown has been their weakest point up to now, and I'm hoping that, going into Mania, if we get a good feud between American Alpha and the Usos, and a really good match, because those two have the potential to have if you give them 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, they could have an excellent match. And yeah, allow them to do more than just the hot tag thing in the corner, because right now the tag team division is getting very short 5-minute or less matches. This was the longest tag team match in a while, and it's just been kind of sad. I really wish, one, that they had left the belts on the Wyatts longer, but that probably would have interfered with what happens later in the show, but we'll get to that. I would say, if we're going to have the weakest point, I think, in the show is the Apollo Crews Kalisto Ziggler match. I think this is probably the second weakest. But this was a show, I think they did a really good job in the placement of the show, of you start out with a hot match, and then you have your 2 weaker matches, and then from there, every match got progressively better. So I think the layout was a really good job on this one.
They did a good job with the layout. Like I said, each match did. I agree with what you're saying. Each match gets better. There is one exception, and once we get there, I will let you know.
All right. Next up, we had Nikki Bella taking on Natalya. The crowd was kind of quiet at points for this, but they both, Nikki and especially Natalya, did a good job trying to egg them on. I
thought they would be more into it because it was in Phoenix, and that's Nikki down.
Natalya needs to stop doing the "you can't see me" thing, because she did that like 18 times during this match, and that got old. I was really shocked that JBL mentioned Tyson Kidd. I thought he was kind of an off-limits subject because of his horrible injury.
JBL can do things that other people can't do, because Vince McMahon won't say anything to him. That is a rumor online forever, and you just catch it so many times, where JBL will make references to things that no one else will make references to because he's JBL.
Yeah. My other couple takeaways from this is, one, Nikki Bella has one of the absolute best forearm shots in all of wrestling. I would not want to take that. She looks like she takes her head off. She does a great job with that, and she has a better spear at times than Roman Reigns. I was disappointed this was a double countout, but I thought this match was surprisingly good. This was a shockingly good match. Of the 3 women's division matches, I actually thought the Naomi Alexa one was the one that had the potential to be the worst. But this one I figured would just be blah, boring Divas match, because they were from that era. And this was actually really good. I gotta give props to Nikki Bella. She has really Since Paige came on the scene, she has stepped up her game consistently, and she was pulling out moves in this match I've never seen her use. And Natty actually looked good. Natty sometimes looks really slow. She had to dumb down her wrestling ability for so long because of the rest of the division. It's taken her a long time to catch up, and this was a match where she finally looked really good, I thought. So I was, at the end of this, I was like, wow, that was a lot better than it should have been.
It wasn't just well, they've worked together a lot. Of course, Natalya was one of the main trainers for Nikki. That's a big point of story on any time if you watch Total Divas, is that she literally trained her, and basically Nikki took her spot in essence, or took the spot, not her spot. But Nikki has really improved. The internet rumors is that, of course, she's getting into her last match. So technically this could have been her last match in Phoenix. And if that's what the purpose was, she really left it all out in the ring. I was very proud of her. If you know me, I'm not that big of a Bella fan. I actually care less about the Bellas most of the time, but I respect when you bring it. And she really brought it last night. Brought out some moves I hadn't seen, but the physicality of the match. They were laying into each other. That was about as physical of a women's match as I've seen, period. And that is what I actually was gonna make this point on our group last night, but I decided I was gonna save it exclusively for the show. I loved the finish. I might be the only weird guy that loved the finish. I thought the finish told the story, and it's going to set up a match on SmackDown, which of course it's all about ratings on the TV too. So you're gonna their blow-off match is going to be on SmackDown now, and that gives a big match to their show. And from what happens later in the show, it's going to lead into Nikki Bella's maybe next and last feud. So it's all, I was very good with how it ended, because it was like if whoever won, they would end the feud right there. And you got about, as Daniel Bryan pointed out, you got about 7 weeks before WrestleMania, and you still want people to watch SmackDown every week. So you don't want to kind of set your stage right now. You want to keep people tuning in every week.
Yeah, I actually didn't hate the ending either. I figured it was going to build up to ending the feud on SmackDown, which I'm actually really cool with. I like that on SmackDown they don't keep all the big moments for just pay-per-views. They do important stuff on the weekly show to let you know, hey, you really need to tune into this every week. And I think that's great. Yeah, and the double countout didn't hamper my enjoyment of the match. And let's just go ahead and real quick talk about the behind the scenes thing that happened, because I completely forgot to write that down, so I have no idea where it happens in the show. But later on, Nikki was doing an interview backstage. She got attacked by Natalya. They brawl all over the place. And at some point, she knocks into Maurice, and Maurice spills her cocaine all over the place.
Yeah, her powder all over the place. Yeah. It was slight, but SmackDown is good with the subtle storytelling. You can see how Maurice is going to take that as offensive from Nikki Bella, and I think it's going to lead to that WrestleMania match everyone's been teasing. The WWE, when they feel like a woman has done a lot, they like to give her swan song. They like to give her big match. So I'm imagining her dream match is to be with her boo, John Cena, in a mixed tag match, and they have done a great job on Talking Smack, talking about how the Nikki and John Cena keep their lives separate in wrestling, and it's just like it's a perfect. It's a little subtle storyline set up that is setting up that match, and how it's going to make it such a big deal that they actually tag up together.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think they're doing a really good job with that, and that in the main event, there's some tie-in with that as well, also in a subtle way. and it would be really cool if Nikki, if she really is calling it a day, that if she gets to go out on top at WrestleMania pinning Maurice, that would be very cool. But then again, maybe they're gonna do the old school, you go out on your back, and she will take a pin from Maurice. Who knows? We'll find out. But yeah, I also like you said, I enjoyed this match. I loved the backstage part, but it cracked me up. They're fighting, and Natty is the one who attacked her, and then Natty's the first person that starts screaming, "Get her off me!" I'm like, lady, you started it. So, and then Nikki screams, "Get her off me!" as she's still kicking her. But that whole thing was really good. I can't believe I enjoyed a whole Nikki Bella match and segment as much as I did. Man, good job. Good job, WWE. You got me to enjoy and care about Nikki Bella. I think I'm going to go throw up now. Next up, we had Randy Orton taking on Luke Harper. My things with this match, I was kind of disappointed that the first half of the match was Chinlock City, but I thought it ended great. And Harper was super over.
He was super over, and I would have liked to see him get the win. And I would have liked to see him get the win. I know they're building up Randy for Mania. I don't think the loss would have hurt Randy in any way. So I think I would have liked Luke Harper to go ahead and get the win. I really don't like that they kind of reused the finisher from the finish from the first Randy Orton and Luke Harper match where they were fighting to be a member of the Wyatts. Because basically he went for the spinning clothesline and he turned it into an RKO. This time he goes in the spinning clothesline. Randy Orton blocks his arm and he spins around and eats the RKO. It was pretty much the same finish, which, bothers me.
Yeah, I can see that. I just thought the story that they're telling was, and New Japan actually does a really good job with this, is that there are certain echelons of guys, and that Luke Harper is not quite on the same level as Randy Orton, but he is real freaking close, and Randy Orton just snuck in a win. And I enjoyed it, and the crowd was super into Harper. The key with this is going to be the follow-up. Because there's 7 weeks between now and Mania for SmackDown. They can continue to have more matches. Luke Harper can get a win or two over Randy Orton in the meantime. And if it ends up being Orton beats, we'll get there in a second. But if at the end Orton stands tall at Mania, if Harper is his first challenger, and maybe at that point he beats him finally, then that would be good. The key thing here, though, is Harper gained a lot out of this match by standing toe-to-toe with a dude who's a 12-time world champion. So they need to capitalize on that because they have something really, really special with Luke Harper. I know Vince McMahon never got his hands on Bruiser Brody, and I would not be surprised if there's a part of him that sees Luke Harper as a modern-day Bruiser Brody, even though I'd make an argument that Harper's probably actually better than Brody was. So I really hope they do something with him. Keep him in that main event echelon, maybe even put him in the IC title mix for a while. I know he's held that title before, and then, in 6 months or so, bump him up to main level where he's fighting for the world championship. But I enjoyed this match.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very technically sound match. No botches. Randy did his thing. Luke did his thing. And Randy did as much as he could to get Luke over without actually taking the pin.
Agreed. Then we had the women's title match. Naomi challenging Alexa Bliss. Naomi got the win. I was really shocked. I thought she wouldn't. And here's what I'm going to say about this. I thought this match was a lot better than it should have been. I think it was both Naomi and Alexa Bliss's best match easily. I loved the post-match, the "You Deserve It" chants. I thought this was great.
See, and I completely disagree. I thought it was like horrible. There were so many botches in this match. So many. Like, they botched the finish, it looked like 3 times, and it was just bad. It was just like, I don't know if it's, to me, Naomi's good. Alexa's less than good. Naomi is not good enough to make Alexa look good, because Alexa was never in the right place the whole match.
I might have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, when she hit the springboard, she never, like, the first time she was supposed to completely miss, and then Alexa was supposed to roll her up, and then, you know, the referee was supposed to see her foot on the ropes, and that's how it was. But because Alexa didn't get out the way, Naomi hits it, and then she just had to no-sell it, and she just does an Oklahoma roll and puts her feet up. It was so ugly and clunky. It looked like the wrestling matches I used to leave on. I mean, honestly, the result saved the match. Like, if Alexa won, I was like, man, Alexa won in an ugly effort. But the result, the absolute shocking nature of the result, that Naomi is going in. I feel like this was her Lifetime Achievement Award. I don't think she's going to hold on past Mania. I feel like it was just like, hey, you've been with us a long time. We have 2 different women's titles. So Orlando is where you're from, your hometown. That's a great hometown story to tell that we can take into WrestleMania. And there you go. I think she drops it at Mania or the night after, very quickly after, because she is not who you want to build your roster on, because she just, like I said, her matches are at best. And so, like I said, it was just like Alexa was too slow. And you know, as far as her ring general, I love Alexa Bliss. Let me make that very clear. I love the character she's done. How she has improved since she got on SmackDown. I commend her, but last night was 2 steps back.
Okay, yeah, see, and I didn't mind the clunkiness. To me, it made it feel like a more of a real fight. And because mistakes happen in fights, and I enjoyed that. And maybe it was the ending and the story, and I just got wrapped up in the whole thing. And maybe it was Alexa's excellent character work makes me see past some of the botchiness of it, but I enjoyed it. I mean, at the end of it,
deserved it. Naomi definitely deserved it.
Oh yeah.
Alexa's title run is memorable, and she did a great job, and she grew up into her character. She has some more work to do in ring, but we all knew that. But I am very proud of Naomi, or Trinity, for being the world champion. I mean, after they did the You Deserve It, she started crying. My allergies started bothering me. I guess it was some dust in the air, and my eyes got a little watery. And it's not really my thing when it comes to wrestling. So don't let me fact. The match sucked. But I can separate that the story and what it led to was great.
There you go. So we agree to disagree on this match. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Floyd did not, but enjoyed the ending. We both agree the ending was great. And you're right, with 2 women's titles, there is 0 reason that Naomi shouldn't get at least 1 title run with this thing. And her going into Mania, going into her hometown, is just too perfect. So yeah, that was that, and that takes us to the main event, the Elimination Chamber match. Now, first thought, what do you think of the new chamber?
It looks safer for the wrestlers, and my whole thing is I'm about safety. I heard a lot of people complaining about the pads, but again, I'm about safety. I want my wrestlers to be safe. I want them to be uninjured so they can continue to wrestle. So if a thin pad gives them more of a sense of, and you could tell they did more spots on the outside because they didn't have to just fall on steel. So I definitely like the new chamber.
Yeah, complaining about the pads, that's stupid. Sure, it takes away some of the visual effect of there being steel there, but A, it's not very thick padding most likely, and B, it's still going to hurt like a bitch. One thing I really liked is the fact that it was bigger, and it gave everyone so much more room to do stuff. And I think in the long run, this chamber is going to be a really nice improvement, because you're going to be able to do a lot more high-flying stuff in there. So it started out, Dean Ambrose came out first, got in a pod, followed by Baron Corbin, The Miz, and Bray Wyatt. The match started with AJ Styles and John Cena. And, you know, I will say, John Cena's getting pretty darn good at that Code Red. Ambrose came out next, and then I had this thought when Ambrose went up the first time on top of the pod and jumped and did that flying elbow. I thought immediately, imagine what Angelico could do in this thing. Oh, can you imagine someday Angelico and Matt Cross in a chamber match?
That would be a really good match.
Oh, sweet Buddha, that would be awesome. Let's see. So we'll go through who came out. And
I can say this: I would like to see the cruiserweight division have an elimination chamber match, just because it would just allow for more time.
Oh my God, that would be fantastic. Have freaking the possibilities of Cedric Alexander, Neville, Jack Gallagher, all in that. Oh my God, that would be WWE. Take my money, make that happen. So we'll just kind of go through who comes out, because there weren't any eliminations until everyone was out. Ambrose came out, and then Wyatt, then Corbin, and then The Miz. But what I loved about The Miz, well, Corbin came out and basically just tore through everyone. At that point, everyone was exhausted, beating the piss out of each other, and Corbin looked like $1,000,000 when he came out, and he tore through people. The Miz pod is open, but he just stands in there. I love The Miz. His performance in this, his facial expressions. He didn't do a whole lot in this match, but he added so much to it. And then Ambrose eliminated Corbin, kind of out of the middle of nowhere, and Corbin immediately just beat the utter shit out of him for like a good solid 2-3 minutes. And
yeah.
Watching this, I'm like, okay, I now know what the Intercontinental program going into Mania is going to be.
And I am really looking forward to that program.
Me too.
think Ambrose has to be, the way his character works, he has to be the underdog. And with Baron Corbin being so big and strong, Dean is definitely the underdog in that one. So I really like that feud, that Dean Ambrose Baron Corbin feud. And just a little funny anecdote: do you know Jimmy Wang Yang and Dean Ambrose pretty much have the exact same ring gear?
Oh my God. That's fantastic. I had not put two and two together. That's awesome.
So it was just a little fun thing. I'm not making fun of anybody. It's just funny that the white tank top and jeans was Jimmy Wang Yang's, and now Dean Ambrose's character.
That's awesome. So yeah, Ambrose, I thought Corbin looked fantastic. He wasn't in the match itself all that long, but his presence in the pod, what he did when he came out, taking on pretty much everyone. He hit Cena and AJ both with
In the days.
Thank you, his move. And then he ended up hitting Ambrose with it after he just destroyed him. And when they finally got him out of the ring, Miz, being the chicken shit heel that he is, got a quick pin. It was just too perfect. I was smiling so big when that happened. And then let's see what happened. Then Cena and Miz go at it, and Cena eliminates Miz, setting up for what we discussed earlier, the Cena Miz with Nikki and Maurice feud that is sure to come. The
crazy thing about it is the Miz only took one move in the match. He beat up everybody. He jumped off the top ropes on Cena. Cena did the rollover, flipped into the attitude adjustment. That was the only move the Miz took.
Yeah, and that I didn't like, because it made Miz look kind of weak. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a fan of the attitude adjustment. There are times Cena will hit it and it looks pretty good. Like the times he's hit it on AJ, especially in that match of the Royal Rumble, that final one where you could tell he put a lot of authority behind it. That one looked really good, but I'm like, it's a Fireman Kerry takeover, for fuck's sake.
That is it. It is the beginning of a match. I mean, it is what it was a setup point of the match. You do a Fireman takeover into a side headlock and that kind of thing. And there's nothing impressive about that move. But you just think about the people that have lasted longest and been on the top, most of their finishers suck.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like Stone Cold's finisher, but he wasn't on the top very long.
If you think about it, Stone Cold wasn't on top that long.
Yeah, and I like The Rock's finisher. I like Rock Bottom at least. People's elbows.
When I think about it, I think about his big move being the people's elbow, and as far as the impact of that move, that is horrible.
That is true. That move is more of the I've beaten you down, and this is my little middle finger to you.
Yeah.
That's what that move is. So, let's see. Cena eliminates Miz, and it came down to Cena, Styles, and Bray Wyatt. And so at one point, Cena gets up on top of one of the pods, and I don't know if you heard this, but there was a guy in the crowd said, "Don't kill yourself, Cena." And I laughed. Anytime the mic picks up like really obnoxious things that the crowd says, that cracks me up. So Cena did bust out a flying cross body onto both AJ and Bray. And I don't know about you, but I was jumping up and down in my seat, pumping my hands like crazy when Bray Wyatt pinned John Cena.
I know you've been waiting on that for a while. You've probably been waiting on that since WrestleMania 30 because everybody thought Bray should have went over Cena that night, and he never did. And they've had a feud, and very few times did he get the bit of victory over John Cena, if any. So he got a clean victory in pretty much the middle of the ring. That was the culmination of like a long time of waiting because people have been wanting to push Bray for a very long time.
Yeah, and that crowd went nuts when that happened. And then the final bit between Styles and Wyatt, I thought was really, really good with Bray winning. And even though I had a feeling, I was like 90% sure going into this Bray Wyatt was going to win, I was still so happy when he won. He looked like he was actually going to start crying when they handed him the belt. I was just so ecstatic. I love Bray Wyatt. I've been so frustrated with what they've done with him for the last couple of years. My only fear is that he's just going to hold this belt for 7 weeks and drop it at Mania to Randy Orton. Well,
Bray is the Jake the Snake Roberts of this generation. He is a person that you generally have to feud with before you get to the world title. And in fact, that type of character, he is so over and he doesn't need a belt. So congrats to him on winning the belt. He is the first member of the Rotunda family to be a WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and they've had a lot of great talent in that family. So I'm very proud that that he got that because he was Husky Harris and he got stuck with a shit gimmick, and he rebuilt himself. He came up, or maybe even the WWE, I don't know as far as that, came up with the Bray Wyatt character, and you can come up with whatever character you want. He makes it work. He made it work. He made it his own, and it's probably the best character that they've come up with in the WWE in probably the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, easily. He's fantastic. So this does beg an interesting question. With him being the first member of the Rotunda Wyndham family to win the WWE World Championship, what is the biggest title that another member of the family has won? Was Barry ever NWA World Champion?
Barry was the WCW champion.
Okay.
For a short period of time, I believe.
I know he fought for it. I know it came down to...
fought for it. I don't know. He might not have won it. I think it was Luger and Harley Race that they actually ended up giving. Luger with Harley Race in his corner is who they gave the title to, But he was definitely the United States champion. He was definitely a tag team champion, which would be the highest honors. Blackjack Mulligan never won the world title, so I know he was part of the Blackjacks. But the biggest singles title before this would probably be the NXT title for Bo.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would, well, I don't know, so this begs the question, is the NXT championship, in the grand scheme of wrestling history, a bigger deal than the NWA United States Championship?
I'm going to say yes because of what NXT has become.
Yeah, see, as much as I love NXT, the U.S. title, both the secondary belts for WWE and NWA in the 80s were a big deal. Those top secondary titles were, I mean, you think about especially in the NWA, the number of folks.
You said the NWA United States belt, I would probably put over the NXT belt. What they've done to United States belt since then has really lowered the value of the United States belt, and they actually still treat the NXT title with that reverence and respect.
Good point. But yeah, because I remember Barry Windham, I know when Ric Flair left WCW and was stripped of their title, they put together a match. It was Luger against Windham for the vacated championship, which they minted a new belt. And I think that was the point when WCW finally told the NWA, okay, we're out. And it became just the WCW belt, because for a while there it was both the WCW and the NWA world title, and that was the point when they really, Turner had taken over, and it was in that era. I don't know if that was the exact moment when they finally told the NWA we're deuces, we're going our own way, or not. So yeah, wow, that is Bray Wyatt, the first WWE world champion from that great family, and that's a hell of a family, man. To have a lineage that includes Mike Rotunda, Barry Windham, Blackjack Mulligan, Kendall Windham. I mean, that's some impressive stuff. And then you've got what's her name, Micah Rotunda?
Yeah.
And then you've got Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. I mean, that's a hell of a family right there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and Micah Rotunda is big into fitness, and she's kind of the internet media chick. I keep hoping she wrestles one day.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That is our Elimination Chamber review for 2017. Don't forget, you can check out the show every Sunday it drops. You can find us online at various different places. AroundTheRingOK.wordpress.com is our homepage. You can listen to the show on Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn, and you can download it on the iTunes. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Around the Ring OK. And folks, Floyd, where can folks find you online?
They can find me on my Facebook, Floyd Johnson Jr. My Twitter is at Floyd Johnson Jr. Those are pretty much the only ones you're going to really get me on. I do have an Instagram, but it pretty much is reposting Facebook and Twitter. But yeah, hit me up, ask me anything. I will talk about anything. I will pretty much say anything. So if you are interested, and definitely getting a shout out on the show, make sure you let yourself be known.
Yes, definitely. And you can follow me. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Oklahoma Lefty. Make sure to give the show a follow. And if you like what you hear, please give this video a thumbs up. And click the subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. So that's going to do it for now. In 3 weeks, we've got Fastlane, or as they like to call it, WWE Fastlane, because we don't fucking know it's a WWE or anything like that. God, because we're stupid. But in 3 weeks, we got Fastlane. We'll be back here on the YouTube channel for a review of that. In the meantime, again, check out the show each week, and take care, guys.